I have a Chartres candle here, a candle from Chartres, and this I'm lighting for our pilgrimage. That this is the beginning of a wonderful journey together, whether that continues from today or sometime in the future. But the candle is lit. The time is now to pause and consider hidden things. A pilgrimage to Chartres happening in October. So welcome. And I realized this morning that today's a new moon. So this is a really, really auspicious and great time to consider planting seeds for the future, to consider what is your intention for spring into summer and into the next month or year or cycle. So you can kind of feel that energy into the like, what do I want to foster right now? And even if you're watching the recording, I'm convinced it's embedded. Um, so I'm excited you're here. Not everyone is called to take a journey like this. So just the fact that you're here tells me that something is stirring, that something is moving inside of you and something creative is ready to come to be born or asking to be born. And this preview might be exactly what you need to help you make that decision to come, or it might not. And that's okay. I'm not here to push or sell. I'm here to invite and inform you, just to help you decide, is this calling right for you right now? I'm going to start with a little window into my experience, and then I'll move into what our experience will be. So, and many of you know, I've been walking labyrinths for many years, and over that time, I have come to recognize what a powerful practice and tool the labyrinth is for spiritual connection, settling the mind, and gaining clarity. So naturally, I wanted to go to the original there in Chartres Cathedral. I wanted to experience for myself why thousands of people every year journey to that one place to be in its interior, to walk on that labyrinth. Why there? But I wasn't going alone. My dear yoga teacher and dear friend and my spiritual director was there, Jill Jeffrian, and you might be already aware that she will be there with us as well. And so it's she who encouraged me to go and see it for myself. She presented me with this same candle and she said, "Your pilgrimage has begun." And right away, that's when I felt like a gear shift inside of me. I was preparing then for a journey, which means stepping out of your comfort zone and into an unknown path and unfamiliar territory. I don't speak French. I don't travel alone. All the things that might make you go, I don't know. That's good stuff. Hold that. So, one of the main differences between a pilgrimage and a retreat is the retreat you travel, yes, you travel, but things are taken care of. You step out of your regular life and you get away. You may have a transformational or important experience, but it's more about resting and rejuvenating. At least in my experience, you might have something else, but that's the intention is to go out and kind of replenish. And I love all of that. But pilgrimage is different. In pilgrimages, obstacles are to be expected and welcomed because they are fodder for your growth. Once you step into a pilgrimage, you are stepping into an archetype. You're stepping into a mythology of the human subconscious that we all are part of. So the decision to go, the call to go, the decision to go, the journey there, the experience, the return home, we will experience all of those things. So you're stepping into kind of a like a grander story, the story that involves all of humanity, really. And that's why not everything is arranged like it would be on a retreat. You get to sit with yourself and listen for what experience you want to have. What will bring you closer to your deepest self? What will honor your personal calling to embark on this journey? What will connect you back to your sense of divine and placement in the world? So, like I was saying earlier, Jill will be there, which means we will have access to the cathedral like few others and other groups get to do. She's entrusted by both the French government and the local diocese to facilitate all the pilgrims who come through the door to walk the labyrinth. So she's there actually right now, and she's always facilitating people as they leave if they need anything. And she has access to the holy relics there. In fact, she brings them out to the public eye at their request. So because of her, we will get to do one of the most exciting things and most exciting, so you can hear, most exciting things I can think of, that we will get to do an after hours labyrinth that is just us. No matter how many of us there are, after it's closed and the doors are locked, we get to go in and remove the chairs and walk just as our group. We have permission because she's there. And you'll join a very limited number of people in the world who get to do this. And I'm going to talk more about Jill's participation in a minute. So the labyrinth is a key component, but it's not everything. I'm there to create a container for each of us to have a unique and meaningful experience. That's my job. After leading retreats, local and international, for these last 8 years, I've come to realize this is my calling. This is what I want to do. That's what I'm here to do. I'm building something for us that will leave a lasting impression. I will create a space for you to release what is asking to go, to open your heart and mind to new encounters within and without, and come away with a new appreciation of yourself and your place in the world and your walk with divine. So that's my job. Yours is to show up fully, be ready and open to what this journey is all about for you. Your job is to let go of your agenda where needed and return to your intention when necessary. So I'm bringing my full toolbox. We'll do yoga asana, restorative yoga, meditation, sacred reading, guided journaling, sound bath, guided breath work, contemplative arts. I've sprinkled them through the day as I'm anticipating them being the right tool. But if it seems like we need yoga nidra on day 4 again, we do yoga nidra again on day 4. Like I said, I will also be releasing any agenda that isn't working in the moment, because I'm building a container, but it's all of us that are coming together to create, well, the soup. It'll be a once in a lifetime, once in the world soup. So I have also, this was fun. The last time I was there, I went and scoped out little pockets of beautiful spaces around the grounds and in Paris to inspire us and ground us. So the yoga will be therapeutic and supportive over the alignment instruction. So it's more about supporting your experience there, and it will be available to all levels. Because we're practicing every day, our whole system will be more open and better prepared to receive experiences and process their impact. We will be mindful, so this will have a more lasting impression. And that's the difference between going on a pilgrimage and being a tourist. A tourist consumes and moves on. They'll see it, right? But we're actually going to process it and let it change us deep inside. We have luxury of time there. I'm calling it hidden things because I believe these experiences allow us to open up our inner rooms. They help us touch base with our hidden desires and talents and divine love. Life tends to exist on the physical and mental plane, and that's okay. That's how it has to be. We need those faculties to move us through our life on earth. But there's a whole world of experience just beneath the surface. You've likely touched it. You might have a practice of touching that space frequently. Maybe you remember walking more closely with it as a child. And this little one is still in you. So you are still tethered to source. And a Hidden Things pilgrimage, I think, is an opportunity to reunite with this person in this world inside you. So I'm going to move to a little slideshow to give you kind of a better idea of the area where we will be. So I'll share my screen. Good. Okay. So here we are in Chartres. This is what you'll see if you arrive by train, you walk up, you can't miss it. The cathedral, you can see it from anywhere in town. You're never really lost in Chartres. And so this is where you'll get your first pick. I've arrived in Chartres. It's just outside the train station. This is the grounds, the plaza around Chartres, see there she is. She just boom, looming up above. And those of you staying in the Hotel Parvis, that's it right there. This is Hotel Parvis, and whoop, so you can't get any closer than that. Other places are very, very close as well. This is another side of this little village. I'm just picturing us having lunch here, dinner, and all the while, if you just turn around, Chartres is right behind you. And it is quiet like this. The time of year that we'll be there, it's not the most touristy time. So I just have always really loved kind of the hush of the village. And notice it's cold that time of year, right? So you're going to bring your hats and scarves and coats. But it's I don't know, it just makes it all kind of even more tantalizing. These are the gates that come into the hostelry St. Yves, where we will have our yoga classes. So I just want you to get a picture of that. Maybe it'll remind you that when it's time to show up for class, and we'll point you there on the first day, but you go through these beautiful gates. There's some of the grounds surrounding Chartres. There's these amazing gardens, and we'll take a walk. There's Nick. So I want you to know his face because he's going to help us out. He's going to Sherpa for us. But see how in the background, there's Chartres right there. And then there's bridges and this river runs through, and I found a park for us to maybe take lunch out there or at least do some outdoor meditating. There's just so much going on and available. So that's just outside the grounds. This is from an upstairs room of the Hostelleria St. Yves. I just want you to see like how sweet this town is. And you can see there's a labyrinth that just went by on the ground. It's not open because it's being repaired. But that's the feeling, like we're just going to kind of a storybook place. Now, this is Chartres and Lumiere, and this is every night, and we can decide together which night we want to do this, but you can do it every night. It's a light show that happens on Chartres itself and bridges all around. So I'm going to share this 40-second video. Something you might know about Chartres is that it is part of the Camino. So this is part of the Camino Santiago. So people who are pilgrims on that walk are also going to be stopping by Chartres. So it is truly an international experience, like almost like no other. Well, I mean, there's tons, but this one's particularly amazing. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is a landmark or property recognized by the United Nations for having outstanding universal value. So it's really meant for everyone. And once we go inside, you can see, I mean, there's sacred geometry, sacred architecture. It's beautiful. And we're lucky because it's been renovated. So all of this area here, I don't know if you can see my pointer, but this all used to be like a darker, sootier color. But they have been cleaning it. And so here you'll see they're working on this part. So it really is alive like it wasn't many years ago. It's live like it was when it first started. Here is the labyrinth, which on Fridays only, they remove the chairs so that people can walk. And it's all very organized. It's from 10 to 5. So if you want to walk it an extra time, I recommend coming in a day early. I'll be there Thursday just to settle myself in and get a little bit on French time. But you can walk it as many times as you want when it's open Friday. So we'll have that walk. We'll have the one on Tuesday. That's our own after hours with Jill. And then there's one on Friday where our group will just join with the rest of the pilgrims of the world and walk one more time. Or several on that day, however many you like. Good, there it is again with some of the chairs on it. So one of the big things about Chartres is the stained glass. And you'll see this Mary and child here to the side. The whole cathedral is essentially to Divine Feminine, to Mary, both Mary, Virgin Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene. She has her own window as well. And okay, so there's Jill. Here's one thing that blows me away about being there with Jill, and this is what she did for me when I arrived, is you walk the labyrinth and then you kind of talk about what that was, or what are you bringing on this trip, or what's going on. And then she can just find the stories in the stained glass and help you kind of see yourself there. All these stories, the biblical stories, they belong to everyone. These are our origins, these are our myths, these are the stories that hold us, and they are reflective of us, and she helps you find them. And that's a little foggy, but you can just see it's very, very detailed. They're very known for Chartres. It's this certain blue. In fact, you can even bring home little pieces. They're just vibrant, beautiful colors. And it changes throughout the day, of course. There's some more. And this is the frieze that goes around the interior altar. And it's statues of the story of the New Testament. And here, this is even before. So this is Mary as a baby, Mother Mary as a baby in her story, which is not part of the Protestant Bible. So that was a fun thing to find. It's in the Catholic Bible, though, so more stories shared. And that is the main cathedral, or the main altar statue, which is just, it's all about Divine Feminine. In fact, it's all about life, specifically life. They're not supposed to have crucifixes or death or things like that. It's really all about life. So this is my encounter with a healing that I had. I wrote about this. I don't need to go into it here, but there are these little narthexes around that have different relics. So the relic that is there is Mother Mary's veil, and that's not pictured here. This is a Black Madonna. And if you're familiar with Black Madonnas, there's, I think, 270 around the world, and there's 2 at Chartres. And they hold a very special place of Divine Feminine and healing energy there. And then here's the crypt, which we get to go in. And I think Jill gives us access to some extra stuff as well. But underneath Chartres is this crypt that has a heartbeat and its own Black Madonna. And this is older than the Chartres that you'll see upstairs, because Chartres has burned down a couple times, but the underground has been there. So these are a couple of the little narthexes around the crypt. Here is the Hostelleria of Saint Yves. So when you go in there, beautiful hallways and things. And here's our yoga studio. We'll remove the chairs and tables, but you can see there's going to be beautiful light, and here is the courtyard that we surround. So it's just all within a 5-minute walk, 3-minute walk to the cathedral. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of the space and the experience. Are there any questions here before I go into the kind of what we're doing each day of the week? And we'll do logistics at the end for sure, if that's where it came up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the document is in the chat, but it's also on the website. This is the pilgrimage overview. So Saturday is arrivals, or you can go in early, of course. But we'll get started at the Hostelleria with arrivals. We'll do an opening circle, and then we will go into the town and have dinner together. It's a very just relaxed entry, but acknowledge that this space is sacred. And we could do the Chartres Luminary that night or a different night, but it might be fun to arrive, and we might be a little wired, so we might watch it that night. So we'll just see. Sunday, we will walk the perimeter. Also, I should make a note that it is a working cathedral, and that masses are offered. Vespers, I think, is every day, which is beautiful. There's different choirs that you can hear. Like Chartres itself has its whole own programming that we'll want to keep in mind, because sometimes they'll just have a boys choir in from Italy, or Gregorian chanting. So we might go, oh, you know what, we want to go here and experience. So this might be a good time to just say everything that I offer is optional. So if you want to opt in and opt out, it is your pilgrimage. I'm just holding a space. So Sunday, we'll start by walking around the perimeter and kind of getting a feel for it, tuning ourselves with that of the cathedral. Then Jill will do introduction to the stained glass, and she has some plans to take us around and invite us into the stories there. And I figure that night we'll want a little gentle yoga and maybe yoga nidra, something to help us arrive and be grounded. Monday, I want to teach a workshop. I've never taught it, but I'm excited about it. Your life is a labyrinth, because I think it's important to acknowledge where we've been in our life leading up to where we are now. So we'll just see the bends and turns in our lives, look back a little bit before we have this experience. So we'll do that workshop. We'll visit the crypt with the Black Madonna, and again, maybe the luminaries that night. Tuesday, I have planned, weather permitting, sacred gardens practice. So, like I said, I found all these little pockets, and I just want to be able to take off our shoes and put them in the dirt, put them on the grass, and feel our way into that place. So, I've got some plans for that. And Jill will talk us through the Mary Magdalene window. She has a presentation of taking us through that story. And that is the night we have the private labyrinth walk. Wednesday, we head off to Paris. And when Jill and I made these plans, it was like, okay, Tuesday, that's going to be a lot. You will have kind of thought about a lot and experienced a lot, and it can be like kind of on the little heavier side. So we're heading off to Paris the next day, and I want y'all to see the Mary Magdalene Cathedral. And also, we'll talk about what we want. If you guys just want to go shopping, we'll just go shopping. But we'll definitely have a meal. There's some hidden little gardens and things that I want to have an experience in. And so, dip our feet in the Zen if it's clean. Um, we'll do a little tour of Paris. That includes transportation and lunch. We will just get the train in. It's an hour, easy breezy. Thursday, I'm planning to do a little yoga and sound bath and a tour of the treasury. And that is a beautiful space where they hold all these different it's a reliquary where they hold things that aren't always out, but you can see them. There's some beautiful stained glass by a contemporary artist. Um, so we'll get to go in and see those. And Jill will take us on a hidden labyrinths discovery tour. So labyrinths aren't only things out on the ground. They can also, I mean, they were on coins in the ancient days. They might just be on a piece of paper. And she's discovered that there's some carved into the walls. So you wouldn't ever know it, but we'll get to go and see them carved in the wall and put your hand on it and have the experience. Friday, I'm thinking a little yoga and breath journey, and then that's the open labyrinth walk day. So we'll just go into the cathedral, and there's things all around it that we can participate in. Um, let's see. Yeah, we'll do closing circle that night and probably have some dinner together before departures on Saturday. Um, yeah, I think that's that. I've mentioned that it's only open Fridays, so if you want to see it again, stick around. And I asked Angela if she might have anything to share about an experience she's had either on my retreats or things like that, so that you might get a little bit of enthusiasm from another person, not just me. Angela, would you mind?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Um, Seeing all of this, Jessica, I am like re-excited, re-energized about this trip in particular. It's been, I know, in the works and planning for a long time, and I've kind of been signed up in my heart for a long time, same as Sheila. So seeing it laid out this way is super exciting. So thank you for doing this preview for us. Um, what I am tuning into as a difference about this pilgrimage is that it is really truly a journey of my heart. And I think on other retreats, I loved, I have loved going, and they have definitely always been a transformational experience because you are stepping out of like the identities that hold us while we're here in our homes, whether that's whatever all those identities are. And all of the things that sort of remind you of your place, whether that's socioeconomic, religious, whatever your beliefs are, all kinds of things. And when you go somewhere else, you sort of are automatically released of those things first. And so then so that's one thing that's always a little bit transformational to me when you go on a retreat. Those things release, and then you get to do some practices and return. And even though you're stepping back into those identities and maybe some of those labels and boxes, there's always that residue that really does, I think, remain from a retreat. And this one, I am so excited to go on because to me, it is a very intentional um, journey to kind of move my heart from one space to another. And I'm excited to see what will happen, actually. I've never done a pilgrimage like this. But based on past retreats where it's transformational, um, and the residue remains, I'm very excited
Yeah, I
about
think
this
that's
pilgrimage.
perfectly put, that there will be residue, like after a yoga class, you just
Yeah.
feel better for a little while. And I'm sorry I didn't introduce who Angela is. Angela is a
Okay.
very practiced retreat hostess. So I'm always so blessed to have Angela with us because she's really good at mm, filling needs. Now, she's having her own experience. She's not your mom. But if somebody needs something or some logistical help or something like that, then it's not just me. You can also talk to Angela, right? So we'll have some support there. She's doing her own thing, but just know she is just bringing a little extra. She's been a little extra support. So thank you, Angela, for that share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see, remove pin. There we go. One thing I also wanted to mention that you might not know, if you haven't looked on the website recently, is that I'm planning to do a couple meetings leading up. I'm calling it Pilgrim's Path, so that we can kind of I'll take a participation of the whole time leading up. Like we are right now 6 months from go's time. And so you might like to know things to read. So I'm going to create just a couple of chances for us to meet up, talk about why we're going, and maybe set an intention to get us to the next one. And I have 3 books here that I'm going to recommend at the end. Um, okay, logistics. I recommend flying into Charles de Gaulle Airport, and then you take the train to Montparnasse, and from Montparnasse, you change to a train to Chartres. This is where Nick is going to be very handy. We are going to place him where needed. So at the airport to help people get onto the train to Montparnasse, or at Montparnasse to help you get onto the train at Chartres. It is totally doable. You can even buy your tickets ahead of time. I can help facilitate that. Nick is going to facilitate that. No, it is doable. It's just something to learn. If a lot of us or a lot of you are arriving at the same time, you might consider getting an Uber together. It's a 1 hour drive, right about hour to an hour and a half. And so when we looked at all the different ways of traveling, that might be splitting that might even be more economical and definitely more direct. So there will be different ways to get there, and just know your hand will be held, and then off you go. It'll be the support that you need, but you will make the arrangements that you like. Um, so that's it with the logistics. Yeah, these guides. Okay, so some suggested reading. 2 of the books are by Jill, and I don't know if this one's in print. I'm going to have it with me, so if you like it. But it's called Praying the Chartres Labyrinth, a Pilgrim's Guidebook. And if it's out of print, maybe we could even get PDF versions or something. And it's, just ways to prepare, things to think about. This is one that I used, and I just read through it on the airplane and kind of got in the vibes. So I recommend that book. Also, her other book, this one I spent each morning, I would just open up it. This is Visions of Mary, Art, Devotion, and Beauty at Chartres. This one I know is in print. And it just has the different aspects of Mary. So it's very Mary centric. And what happened is I got to know the cathedral before I even went. So some of them are the stained glass, sometimes it's the frieze. This one, right? She remade that photo with me. But you're introduced to places all around. It's got a really good chart in the back of all the different. Oh, see, this is the camise, the shirt of that's the relic there. But yeah, it's just beautiful photography. It's Jill's photography. Yeah, and showing the difference when they refurbished the Black Madonna. People are not thrilled, not supposed to do that. But it's a great history. It really introduces you to everything there, especially Mary related. And also Walking a Sacred Path. This is by Lauren Artress. This is a really great book, Rediscovering the Labyrinth as a Spiritual Practice. She is the reason why we can walk the labyrinth at all. In 1990, she took this on kind of as her quest. She is from California. She's now 80. She's been doing this 30 years. And she made a relationship with the diocese at Chartres. And over time, they begrudgingly let her opened up to the public. Like they were like, okay, Tuesday, Thursday, you can have her from like 5 to 7. But now it's every Friday during certain months of the year. And so she is that's who I did my training with for labyrinth facilitation in Chartres. So I highly recommend books by her. She's a beautiful writer and just makes it all make sense. Lastly, if you decide, or I'm sorry, when you decide you want to go, if you haven't signed up already, you just go to the website, jessgoulding.com/pilgrimage, and you put down your deposit. And once you put down the deposit, then Angela will reach out to make a payment plan if you'd like to do it over time or once, all at once is fine as well. Um, and you'll be on the road, ready to go. All payments will be completed by August, I think August 14th or 10th or August 1st. Anyway, by August. So we've got 6 months to make the payments. And I have a whole, waiver, and I've got the legalese too, if you needed to look over that to know what you're getting yourself into. I do recommend travel insurance, and you can add this trip to the rider. So um, that way, if something happens, if something changes, then you can be covered. Okay, I think that is all I have to put out. So what I'll do now is I'm going to close down the video, and then we can talk about any questions and concerns that you might have. Thank you for joining me for this video, and you can email me anytime, reaching out at jessgoulding.com, the contact page, contact me.